Yo, what's poppin', gamers? It's your boy Wrenched, and today I'm gonna teach you guys how to pick the best main for yourself in Brawlhalla, especially in this current meta, which we all know is pretty bad, which is not good. It's really bad, yeah. Basically, the thing to look out for is making sure that your character has viable signatures. Stats kind of take a backseat to signatures because signatures are entire moves, obviously, but stats also play a decent bit into it. Like, you know, you want on the lower end, maybe middle dexterity, except if you're trying to hit a combo threshold, like in my last video, the Guitars Guide. Not technically the last video, but I said basically you should run the attack stance on Sentinel. That is not true. You should use the dex stance on Sentinel so you get Guitars Dare to delight your combo. That's an example of one of the situations where dex is useful, but in many situations dex doesn't really do anything. So that's why you want to take either attack stances, defense stances, or sometimes speed stances, but not really unless your character already has low speed. You kind of want to go attack or defense stance. You want to make sure that you have pretty rounded stats in those areas, just to make sure that you're not completely pooling into one area so that you're very one-sided, especially if that one area is dexterity. If you have too much dexterity, take some off, dude. You can put that into another stat. How do you pick a main when the meta doesn't favor you? That's kind of a hard question. It's more about playing someone that you're comfortable with over playing what's constantly meta, because the meta's always changing basically, and whatever you're comfortable with, that's not going to change for the most part, unless you go and learn another character. So, you know, play what is most comfortable to you and you'll find the most success. I'm not saying pick something that caters to the meta every single time, but there are definitely things that you can do to get a nice middle ground between comfort and ability, and also viability right now in this current meta. How do you figure out if a character is viable in this state of the game? It's just dependent on the character's signatures, their stats, and their weapon combos, of course. You usually want weapon combos that complement each other. Something like one string weapon to rack up damage, and then another like heavy weapon, for example, to finish off your opponent because of the high force. Something like that works really well. So like Sentinel if you wanted to play Guitars, Asuri if you wanted to play Guitars because Sword Delight Recovery is an insane kill confirm. If you wanted to play, you know, Blasters, Barraza is absolutely insane right now, shown by Cody Travis especially. So just pick based on complementary weapons, stats that complement your character, and also decent enough signatures, because some characters don't have legitimate signatures. Like Caspian Gauntlets, those signatures do not count. They are not really good at all, so you don't want to be using those. Obviously, I mean, like, use them sometimes, they fit some situations, but like they're not Fate signatures, you know, they're not Fate Orb signatures, they're Caspian Gauntlet signatures. Those are two different entire echelons, dude, of signatures. You know the difference, it's giant. Basically, attack stat is more variable force and increased damage on moves. Defense is the opposite, resistance to damage and resistance to variable force on moves. Dexterity is decreased recovery frames on moves, which is sometimes literally just one frame on one move. And then speed is increased grounded and aerial movement speed. That one is also pretty nice, not gonna lie. I'm gonna hop into a game really quickly so you guys don't have to look in the character select for 3 years, so hold on. I think I fucking don't remember Party Rock that much. So yeah, basically, good weapons for countering the heavy weapon meta that we're sitting in right now. The terrible godforsaken heavy weapon meta that is just, it's bad. And also the reason why I'm playing Vodvar at 2s now instead of Guitars. And also considering playing Thor in 1v1 instead of Guitars. But yeah, I think Orb is a very nice counter to all the kind of heavy weapon stuff, just because like Orb is really solid, doesn't really lose if you trade. You know, it has a lot of moves that can get over grounded, like attacks. Like Delight really solid, Dare is really solid. Reminds me a little bit of Guitars. So maybe, you know, maybe. That's part of the comfortability part, is it feels like Guitars kind of. And I just dropped that combo, but that doesn't matter. Yeah. You just want to have weapons that complement each other. That I cannot stress enough. If you have something like Caspian, it's kind of gonna be harder to actually find kills. And something like Lucian, where that's just like a stat issue, he doesn't have that much attack, so you're gonna have times where you struggle to kill. And also, it's kind of hard to figure out who you want to play right now, because there's literally going to be a balance patch right before low tier city, or at least there is a very high chance of one in the next week or so, I think. So, you know, that patch could basically flip the meta entirely on its head. So you don't want to be playing something that was good right now and then have it just get absolutely butt nerfed to the ground. I was gonna be more vulgar there, but I decided against it. Yeah. So I'm gonna put on screen this tier list of weapons, and you know, I'll just kind of talk through it really quickly. So I have axe as first, I have lance as second, I have hammer as third, orb as fourth, gauntlets, blaster, sword, bow, spear, scythe, guitars, and then cannon. Cannon is obviously lowest because it's easily like the worst weapon right now. Axe is the highest just because, you know, it didn't even get a nerf when it got nerfed. Technically it just got a power shift, so it's just all around still good. It trades really well, doesn't really have a problem with, you know, being super punishable as a heavy weapon, because sidelight is massive. You know, if you get hit by sidelight, you're getting nared 100% of the time, or Sarah, which that's even worse because, you know, true kill combo, that, you know, which it's true, you cannot get out of it, so that's a bit better than most other weapons. Sarah just has the variable force of Jesus himself, and then Dare is still fine, recovery is a really good recovery, ground pound is basically better spear recovery in terms of function, which has the potential to follow up out of sidelight nair. Sidelight nair puts you into such heavy advantage, because what are they gonna do, dodge in on you and get sidelighted again, dude? I don't know, it's a really annoying weapon to play against. Lance is up there for the similar reasons, like Enlight literally does 20 damage. Sidelight recovery basically throws away all the stage control you could have ever hoped to have, and Nair is just an all-around solid move. It follows up into its moves really well. Basically, whenever Lance is good, it's frustrating and annoying to play against. Hammer I just have up here because another heavy weapon. You're dealing a lot of damage per hit. String weapons, you get like 1 or 2 hits, or maybe even sometimes you get an optimal read, optimal punish from a read, and you're gonna be sitting at the same damage as if they just delight Sarge you like twice. So that's why I think heavy weapons are much better than any other weapon in this meta right now. The reason I have Orb as 4th though is because I feel like Orb it's really unexplored, and other people would agree with me that no one really plays Orb at a super high level, and no one's really dedicated themselves to the weapon. So we haven't really seen like a bunch of stuff that could be done because no one's really playing it all the time. So maybe I will try it for low tier city. Maybe I'll innovate the weapon or something. I'll find some way. But an optimized orb is really scary. You can do like Dare into Nair true combo. There's so many setups that you can do out of Dare that people just don't go for or don't do. There's so many true combos on the weapon that are just unheard of. Like I was talking about, the Dare into Nair, Dare into Sair sometimes, I think even, Dare into like Enlight. It's insane. And then, you know, just the extra utility of Dare, from having all these different use cases, from like it's just how it is, how the move is like this, makes it much more fluid, and also you can just do more with it. More utility on a move is something I'll take. That's Scythe. It's literally just pure utility. The reason I have Scythe, I'll just go through it one by one. Gauntlets are there because of the 3-hit true combo. It's pretty solid. It's got Dare or Delight into ground. Delight into recovery for its kill confirm, which is really nice. You know, ground pound is pretty cheese, I won't lie. I don't really think it's a broken move, but it definitely is one that is a casual killer type of move. And then blasters, just because they're really solid at racking up damage. They can control space really well. Then sword, just because, you know, the kill confirm delight recovery is absolutely insane. And then bow, also just because of control. Enlight is insane, delight is insane, sidelight is pretty good, not gonna lie. It's really tough to be playing the game at this time, at the same time as like actually trying to speak to points that I have on a Google Doc, so please bear with me. This is the first time I've done this like legitimately, I think. At least, you know, whatever. I'm gonna stop wasting time talking about that. But yeah, spear is there. I think spear is actually really good. It probably should be higher, maybe higher than bow, but I don't know. I don't really want to overplace it, especially because like every spearman says the weapon's bad, but like who's maining a weapon and thinks it's good, you know? There's not a lot of people who are like that, except heavy weapon players right now, because you can't really deny your heavy weapon being good. I won't lie. Yeah. Then Scythe is just above Katars because I feel like when you get put into advantage state, like when you get a hit, that advantage state is generally better, like all the time. Like hitting a Katar's Endlight, compare that to hitting a Scythe Endlight. What are they gonna do out of it? You can't really wake up as hard out of or as effectively out of a Scythe Endlight than you can a Katar's Endlight, for example. Scythe has weird drops sometimes, but not nearly as often as Katar's, and especially not while trying to kill. It also has active input, which basically always makes it like Sleeper the best weapon in the game, no matter what, because of that extra utility. So no matter what, like Scythe can't be bad. It should be placed higher, but it's placed where it is. Just thinking about, like, I was just thinking, like, you know, Katars are definitely a little bit worse than Scythe right now. Then Cannon, just because the rework kind of absolutely destroyed the weapon. So you know, you don't really have that much follow-up potential out of Sidelight. Sidelight is kind of just stubby now, I don't know. Endlight's kind of weird compared to the old Endlight. Like, that's not to say the rework was necessarily a bad thing. It's nice to see that stuff is getting reworked and the devs are open to reworking weapons. But the rework just kind of nerfed the weapon indirectly, if you get what I'm trying to say. So maybe I won't play ranked during this, because I feel like that's a bit harder to do. So I'll just go off the list. The win rates of Brawlhalla Legends, I'll put those on the screen. So basically the highest win rates are Scarlet at 57.09%, Taros at 56.92%, Olgrim at 56.89%, Orion at 56.12%, Sir Roland at 55.59%. It is not a coincidence that all of those are Lance Legends. Lance is a casual killer, and this win rate is like, I'm pretty sure it's for every rank. So that's taking into account every rank. It is a definite casual killer, and it's definitely a very strong weapon in 1v1 right now, and also 2v2. The amount of stage control you get from hitting a Sidelight recovery in like orange is absolutely insane. You basically get all of it. So there are some similarities between win rate and also what's absolutely broken right now, or what's absolutely cheese right now. Like Taros has always through and through been a cheese legend. Orion, basically, yeah, a cheese legend. Scarlet, cheese legend. Olgrim just has really good stats, good signatures, you know. Lance and Axe, which are both heavy weapons, both can kill, both can rack up damage really easily. Scarlet, same thing, good signatures, pretty good stats, good weapon combo. Taros, pretty good sigs, not terrible stats. You know, you get the picture. The same thing goes on. The lowest win rates, which I'm not going to read out the actual percent because you know it's going to be on screen. Linfei, Jiro, Isaiah, Koji, Lucian. Lucian right there makes me want to cry, bro. That is unfortunate. And I think that's just because like sometimes you can literally just get stuck not being able to find a kill because of his low attack and also his signatures. Like his Katar signatures are really good. His blaster signatures are just okay. But his Katar signatures, the reason why like you can't kill with them all the time is because, you know, since he doesn't have anything else really to kill on Katars, you go for the sig, right? And that sig becomes predictable. So, you know, you get stuck in those really bad situations with Lucian. But yeah, win rate is definitely a useful resource to find out what the meta is kind of right now, or what at least is a casual killer kind of thing right now. But yeah, final question for this is like, who am I gonna play? I don't know. I'm thinking maybe Orb, because Orb is a really good weapon right now. It's comfortable, similar to Katar's enough, and also similar to Sword with like Sidelight, being basically old Sword D-Light. I don't know. On this list, I had maybe Cassian, maybe Lucian, maybe Asuri, which I was thinking Lucian. I've won a tournament with Lucian before. I don't think Lucian, right? I don't really know what legends I want to play for low tier city, which is kind of tough being in this situation, especially with the tournament coming up. So I'll have to figure it out somehow. You can figure it out with me when I stream either tonight or tomorrow on twitch.tv/wrenched. I'll put it in the description or the comment section when I actually do go live. If you like the video, please press like, subscribe, comment, whatever. Join my Discord, dude. I don't know, something like that. Anything to support me helps, and I really appreciate it. I wanted to use this kazoo as a gag, but you know, it didn't really call for it in this video. So maybe next video. But yeah, I hope that was at least interesting or gave you a little bit more insight into picking a legend. But yeah, thank you for watching. Goodbye.